Hey everyone, Maddox here and welcome back to the Poke Historian. Today we're doing another one of my top 10 videos and we're going to be looking at my top 10 favorite Pokemon cards of all time. These are not in fact the most expensive cards in my collection, they are actually just my favorites for nostalgia purposes and artwork. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into number 10. We have Crystal Celebi from Skyridge. Of course, this is certainly not a cheap card by any means, but it's here because of the artwork. I've had this card for about 6 years now, and I like it so much that it's actually worked its way onto my top 10 list that I'm showing to you now. I love the moon you got going on here in the background with the starry sky. I like where around Celebi's foot you have all the different colors, the green, the blue, the red. Just really pops with all those different colors going on there. You got these vines that look very mystical and of course go along with Celebi because he's a grass Pokemon. And it's fun to look at all the different energy types here too. It adds some additional color to the card. So for a newer card to my collection, it has certainly become one of my favorites. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 9. We have Cool Porygon, the first Black Star promo on our list, and I'll give you a spoiler right now, will not be the last. I like this card a lot for the fact that it's got cool in the name. That's very unique. There's no other Pokemon card out there that has that, so it's like, okay, this is a pretty special Porygon then. I like the computer, like rainbow-esque background going on there. It looks like kind of like glitchy like a computer program, but also very aesthetically pleasing because of all the colors. And then normally I don't like these 3D artworks of Pokemon where they're made with like 3D graphics and stuff, but I think it works very well with this Porygon because he's supposed to be a 3D program. So I truly appreciate that. And this card was kind of hard to get your hands on back like in the late 90s, early 2000s too, because it was a Nintendo 64 pack-in promo with Pokemon Stadium. So for that reason, it kind of gave it an air of exclusivity. And of course, Porygon himself, pretty exclusive Pokemon in Red and Blue. You can only get him at the game corner by trading it a massive amount of points. So for all those reasons, Porygon's always stuck out to me, and this is my favorite card of him. On to number 8, another Black Star promo. We got the Birthday Pikachu card. So this card obviously stands out because you got Pikachu celebrating a birthday here with his cake and his present. It's kind of a trend that's become more and more popular at Pikachu over the years, is seeing him in different poses doing different things, whether he's surfing or having a birthday party or dressing up like different characters. It's kind of become his thing, and this was one of the first cards to really put Pikachu outside, the natural environment and doing something more playful and fun here. I love looking at the birthday cake and the present, and then you got balloons and streamers in the background and a nice yellow background going on there too. And of course up here at the top, you could put your name, and then on your birthday, this card would actually do more damage, so pretty fun. Then we're moving on to number 7. We got Dragonite, holographic from Fossil. So for me and a lot of other people, this was the chase card from Fossil. Dragonite was such a cool Pokemon, still is, the first real powerful Dragon-type Pokemon we got in the game. And what I like about this artwork is, he looks very kind and gentle, even though everybody knows how strong Dragonite is. So it goes to show, like, even though he's a very powerful Pokemon, he has a good heart and he uses his powers for good. And, his caring nature really is reflected here. So that's kind of fun. And then, of course, you got more rainbow aesthetic going on in the background, and even a ray of sunshine over here, which is pretty cool. Now we're going on to number 6. We have the Eevee Black Star promo, holographic. So this is the first holographic Eevee card. I love the background because you got blue, red, and yellow for Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon. And I like the way he's drawn here. It's very crisp. I love like when cards have like a nice hard black background like that. It really makes the Pokemon pop out. And I remember trading for this card at Books A Million back in the day. I must have traded like 3 holographics to get this card because I had just seen it. Some kid probably got it as part of a Books A Million promotion they had going on that day. And I just had to have it, so I definitely overtraded for it. And to be honest with you, I don't even care because I just love this card so much. It'll always be one of my favorites. And now we're moving on to number 5. We have another Black Star promo. We have the holographic Mew card. So if you were collecting Pokemon back in the day, of course, you know that Mew is a very exclusive Pokemon. When Red and Blue first came out, we weren't even sure if he was truly a real Pokemon or whether he was a myth. So when we got the first card from Mew, it was a big hit. And of course, this is the holographic Mew promo card here. There's also a non-holographic one, but I like this one a lot better for the holo pattern going on. Love the colors in the background. You got purple, blue, and yellow. It's very ethereal and dreamlike looking on. And of course, you got the classic drawing of Mew there by Ken Sugimori with kind of a very light pink body with those dark pink highlights there on his feet. You don't see him really drawn like that anymore. So very, very iconic card. Now we're moving on to the number 4 spot. We have another Mew card. We have the CoroCoro Shining Mew. And of course, the Shining Mew here is blue. I've already done a video about this card before, so I won't talk about it too long here, but essentially I love how the entire card is holographic. You can see it when I'm moving it around like this. I like how you got Mew. He's flying through space and all happy and very kind of dreamy and whimsical. And I love all the stars and the colors in the background. As I've said, whenever you have a bunch of colors in the background, it always just gets me going for some reason. Don't know why that is. Now we're moving on to number 3. We have the Marill card from Southern Islands. Just did a video about Southern Islands a couple weeks ago, so if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. This card means a lot to me because number 1, I love the beach, so this tropical aesthetic really vibes with me. And the other part is like, just for Pokemon's history, back when I was a kid, like Marill was another kind of mythical Pokemon like Mew, in fact, even more mythical. We called him Pikablue. And I remember the first time we saw him, it was pretty fascinating because it's like, well, who is this blue Pikachu and what's his deal, you know? And there was a lot of debate like, well, that can't be a real Pokemon, can it? Can it? And then I remember going to a toy store back when I was about 10 years old and seeing the Japanese version of this card in stores. And of course, I begged my parents to get it for me. It was part of one of those 3-pack Japanese Southern Islands promo sets that you could get. And then later on, I got the holographic English version of it. So this card always sticks with me for those reasons. Now we're moving on to number 2. Stepping into Neo Genesis, we have the Pichu holographic card. Pichu, again, like I said, when Generation 2 coming out, unless you were there, it's hard to explain, but these Gen 2 Pokemon were a big deal during that time because we'd all gotten used to having the original 151, but we just started slowly seeing these leaks of like these new Pokemon, and of course seeing a baby version of Pikachu was a big freaking deal back then. And so for this card here, it's fun to see him in his traditional artwork drawn by Ken Sugimori. In the background, kind of reminds me of Birthday Pikachu a little bit. It's got a lot of different colors, lots of flashes, blues, yellows, reds. It looks like a big party. And I think like when I was in either 4th or 5th grade, I opened up a Japanese Neo Genesis pack and I pulled the Japanese version of this card. And so he's always been one of my favorites. And then number 1 on this list, another card I've done a video about, but we'll talk about it here again. We have Neo Genesis Lugia. So again, with Generation 2, you know, he was one of the big players, one of the top legendaries with Lugia here and then Ho-Oh. Just such a powerful, cool Pokemon, such an interesting design. And of course, being the master of the legendary birds being reflected in the background. You can see the blue here for Articuno, the red for Moltres, and the yellow for Zapdos there. And it's a very simple background too. I mean, a lot of this is just white right here, but it just kind of works for him, you know? Sometimes with artwork, like less is more. And I love the dynamic pose he's got going on here. It looks so classic, but yet so modern. And then you have, of course, the energy types for the legendary birds reflected here in the card too, which gives it some added color. And it was certainly the chase card for Neo Genesis, and Neo Genesis was just such a big set for me seeing all those new Pokemon, so this card has always stuck with me. I was finally able to get this card about 10 years ago, and when I got it, I was so happy. It's not a perfect copy of it by any means, but I love the card and it will never be leaving my collection. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And let me know in your comments what your favorite Pokemon cards are, your top 10. Talk to you later.